Welcome to the Stirring the Gumbo Pot podcast, the podcast about the history, the culture, and the accomplishments of Black people. This podcast aims to inspire, educate, empower, and celebrate the lives of Black folk. I am your host, the Cajun Peach, and thank you for tuning in. Now let's get this pot stirring.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Stirring the Gumbo Pot podcast. Today, we have a very special episode. We're celebrating Juneteenth. And again, I've partnered with Ms. Valerie Jefferson of the Amalgamated Transit Union Caucus, Women's Caucus, and she's going to introduce herself and then our guest, as we have a discussion today all about Juneteenth. Ms. Valerie?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Peach. We really appreciate being here today to celebrate Juneteenth. I am Valerie Jefferson. I am representing today of the Amalgamated Transit Union International Black Caucus Executive Board of Southwest Region. Along with my colleagues, my executive colleagues, I am so excited from the Amalgamated Transit Union, better known as ATU, and also with the NAACP, my VP of NAACP. I am so excited and delighted. So I want each one of them to introduce themselves in their own special way. First, we're going to start off with Miss Lynetta Whitehurst, the Vice President of Louisiana NAACP.
Well, good evening, everyone. As Ms. Valerie said, my name is Lynetta Whitehurst. I live in the northern region of Louisiana. I am currently the Vice President of the Louisiana State Conference of the NAACP. I am glad to be here. I am employee of the foundation of ULM. I come from a small town of Plain Dealing, Louisiana. It is like 40 miles north of Shreveport. I have returned home to work, to be close to family, and did not know that I was going to become a member of the NAACP. So for the last 30-some years, up until 2017, I have been a resident of Atlanta, Georgia, where I have done social activities, been an elementary educational teacher, administrative assistant in the software IT world. So I have a couple other lifetimes, and I've came back home. And I'm glad that I am of service today with Miss Valerie Jefferson, a powerhouse voice in the today's labor union movement.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, international, not international, but NAACP Vice President of Louisiana, Sister Lynetta Whitehurst. Next, we're going to move along with ATU International Black Caucus Vice President, Sister Karina Howard. You could come in your own way, introduce your beautiful self.
Well, thank you guys. I am absolutely honored to be on here with such a powerful group. I see you, Kenny. So my name is Karina Howard. I am originally from Aliquippa, PA, small town, but known for sports. So count our rings in the Hall of Fame, baby. I currently serve as the International Vice President to our International Black Caucus. And that is a part of ATU. That is a caucus formed from ATU. Also a member of our ATU Women's Caucus. Currently, when unopposed, as ATU Local 85 here in Pittsburgh's first female African-American vice president. So we have almost 5,000 members. So that is a first. I'm absolutely honored in the climb. I am on our Allegheny Labor Council. So everything labor that you can think of, I'm in the middle of. And Sister Cajun, when we talk about politics, that's ATU all the way around. Labor and politics go hand in hand. So get ready for political stuff today.
Okay.
I am absolutely honored to be a part of the podcast, and I'm ready.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you
to the Stirring the Gumbo Pot.
Thank you, Sister Howard. We saved the man for the last because we know he going to bring it up to the real. So I want to introduce everybody. ATU International Executive Treasurer, Mr. Kenneth Kirk, our friend, our labor brother, our voice in labor. Thank you. Take it over, Mr. Kirk.
Good afternoon, ladies, and whomever else is listening. My name is Kenneth Kirk. I usually introduce myself as Kenneth Ray Kirk. I've always used my whole three names. I actually have three first names. That's what I take pride in. I'm enjoyed to be here. I'm here in D.C., and we're getting ready to do our legislative conference, the ATU Legislative Conference. We have over 150 local union presidents and state officers here. We plan on mingling and going on the Hill and fighting. So, like Karima said, if we want to talk politics, we can talk politics. But I'm not going to, I would like to think about us as Black people more than talk politics and why we are where we are today. I'm originally born and raised in Dallas, Texas. I still have a residence in Texas. I traveled back and forth from Texas to D.C. I was a president of a local, and I've been in the executive. She threw me off. I've been the international secretary treasurer, which is actually my title, and since 2019. Prior to that, I was an international vice president for almost 20 years. So I've been a local union and an international officer for over 30 years. So I started when I was really young. I'm very familiar because Louisiana was one of my assignments. I worked Alexandria, New Orleans, Shreveport, Monroe. I never worked Baton Rouge much, but so I have worked extensively in the labor movement in the state of Louisiana. I practically spent all my career working the South. We all know in these right-to-work states and with these crazy people who like to wear red colors, it's tough in the South. And I've worked from Texas all the way down to South Carolina, including all the states in between. And I'll close there.
Okay, thank you. That was a great introduction. I'm glad you all feel free. Now, everybody should feel free and relaxed now. Okay, we are here to celebrate Juneteenth. That means we're going to celebrate our Blackness. We're going to celebrate us because we are beautifully and wonderfully made by God himself. And you know that God don't make no mistakes. So everything and everybody that he created in his image. So we are beautiful, we are bold, and we are brilliant. So we're going to go on to the next. Our topic today is Juneteenth. So Juneteenth was created and celebrated in 1865. When the Texas found out it's free. You are free. You are like 2 years late. You are free. Celebrate yourself. So, in your own words, we're going to start out with the NAACP because the NAACP fight for justice for African Americans, right? So, our main goal is the justice shall speak, justice shall live, justice shall never die. I heard Sister Whitehurst speak at the Capitol on the steps. Brother Kirk, Sister Howard, she had everybody clapping. We felt like we was going to church. So, Sister Whitehurst, come in your own way about Juneteenth. What you feel and what you think about Juneteenth. Why we celebrate.
Well, you know, Sister Valerie, we were talking about this yesterday about how it has been a hidden history, like many parts of our Black history, being Black in America. And I was no exception as a grown woman hearing about Juneteenth, but not knowing all of the details. And when I heard Miss Peach say that was her studies, I say, Lord, I'm on a podcast that I'm sure going to learn today. Because I soak up that knowledge because we can't read everything, but we can be guided to read other things. And to me, Juneteenth is like awakening. It was like an awakening for young people that didn't even hear the word until after the George Floyd murder. And so It's like a part of history of a little of everything else. And when I was discovering Juneteenth, that it took 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation. But if people read the Emancipation Proclamation, it did not free everybody. It only freed those who were enslaved in Confederate states. And even when you read that, and the crazy part about it is, as an elementary school teacher in Atlanta Public Schools, I taught 5th grade, and we had to go over the Emancipation Proclamation. And that was my first time. It's probably over 10 years ago, give or take, that I really read the whole thing, right? You didn't read pieces or quotes, and you were under the impression that he freed all enslaved people, which he did not. The Emancipation Proclamation was limited, just like the other pieces were limited on the 13th Amendment. You know, it still kind of enslaved our people in a way that if you owed the captors, the kidnappers, then you have to stay until you pay. So it's so many details that awakening, even me learning as an adult. And I'm a lifelong learner, and I'm a testify to that. And I don't know everything. And if you say you know everything, then that's just totally untrue. So to me, Juneteenth is about awakening that celebration of inspiring us to learn our history of being Black in America and letting us know that nothing is impossible. When you just learn something, when we say technically that they were free in 1863, and 2 years later, you're just learning that you could have been part of the Union soldiers at that time if you'd have known it at that time, and that they were still surviving, they were still captured, and they were still being strong Black people as enslaved people. And when they find that out, and it was a new awakening for them, and that should be for us too. Every time we learn our history, knowing prerequisite that there are so many pieces that were hidden, this should be inspiring. This should put fire under our butts that we are standing on great shoulders and that we should not take this for granted. So Juneteenth is a celebration of our history, of awakening those hidden facts or those purposely covered up facts to whitewash history and to make us know that nothing is impossible, that everything is impossible as a people, as humans, and as a collective.
Amen.
Yes, amen.
Yes.
Right on, Sister Whitehurst. I know you're gonna come with it. We know you're gonna come with it.
Definitely with it. Yeah.
Look, you got a sister gonna come right behind your Sister Howard, but to tell us how you feel about Juneteenth. Let us know. We know you're gonna come with it. Just encourage us. We know you're gonna come with it.
So I can't even tell you how big Juneteenth is for me. This is what it means to me and what I would like to see. I'm with you. This is the celebration of many hidden history facts that we were lost in, that we did not know. I learned about it as an adult just the same as I did. And I am going to tell you, being in the industry that I've been in for almost 25 years, the pride that I take in Blacks going from the back of the bus to driving the bus to running bus companies, now being presidents and vice presidents of locals. It means a lot to me. What we did here in Pittsburgh is we advocated to try and make our Juneteenth parade just as big as our Labor Day parade. That's the vision that I have for Pittsburgh. And I would like for our caucus to even join states, go state to state. We have a conference where there's almost 400 of us. Could you just see us at a conference, 400 of us, marching down somebody's city and seeing our little Black girls and boys sitting on sidewalks watching us walk? But here in Pittsburgh, it became a vision and a collective with the company to have our bus decorated in that Black history. So we also share Black History Month and Juneteenth. So I need my buses to be representative of that. Absolutely no cost to us. They decorate the bus exactly how we need it decorated. And it is in the parade. So I love that part. It means more to me because in 1776, it had nothing to do with us. But we celebrate Independence Day like it was ours.
Mhm.
When I tell you 1865 is ours all by ourselves, I would like to see the family cookouts and celebrations with the same vigor that we have with the 4th of July. That's not ours. Listen to the date. 1863, 1865. They were free and independent in 1776. 1776 ain't got nothing to do with me. Now, I'm a 4th of July baby. 7469. So the 4th of July, something to me that I was born. But this is my own personal holiday. And if each Black person took it that personal, how big it would be. How big it would be. So the vision is there. And the second question, how should we celebrate it collectively? We should celebrate it with the same pride and vigor that we do the 4th of July, that we do with Labor Day, that we do with Pride, that we do with women. It should be just as big. When you do our numbers of African American, we are not falling into the minority anymore. Our parades and our celebrations should be just as big. I'll tell you one other thing and then I'll pass it on. I would love for us to break the internet in buying small business June 19th. I would love to see that. I would love for everyone to leave their house or either on the internet and support a Black business. That should be something that we definitely collectively do as Blacks.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes, me too. Thank you. Thank you, Sister Howard. Next, we have Brother Kirk. How you feel about Juneteenth?
Well, Juneteenth gives me a mixed feeling. You know, being from Texas, we've always celebrated Juneteenth, but it was more like a party. You know, it was not a lot of fanfare about history, but you know, it was red soda water and watermelon. That's what we did ever since I was a kid. We've always celebrated Juneteenth, but not realizing the impact was. But you know, we have Miss Juneteenth right in Texas, right outside of Dallas and Fort Worth. Miss Opal Lee, she fought for this to be a national holiday, and it's a big march all over the state of Texas because it was us who found out late. Now, the reason why it's a difficult question for me is because we approached it as a celebration. In fact, we've always considered Juneteenth to be our holiday and not July the 4th. At least in Texas and the people that I'm around, we put a lot of energy into Juneteenth. And a lot of people celebrate their family reunions around Juneteenth, especially in East Texas and in Dallas, Fort Worth, because almost all the people from Dallas and Fort Worth come from East Texas and Louisiana. Because when you go into East Texas, you basically go into Louisiana. But I think the challenge that we have with Juneteenth is the significance for me is that we found out late, meaning that we were behind. And it's ironic. It's 2024, and I feel like we found out things late and we're still behind. So one of the things we need to have as a challenge is how do we stop being behind? And why are we always finding out things late? So to me, it's a mixed bag. And I think about all the things that we used to do in our communities that we don't do today. And I think that when we look at Juneteenth, we should go back to being the way we were. In fact, somebody was talking about, the preacher was preaching today about something that was important. If one family had green beans, one family had corn, one family had cornbread, and one family had meat, that whole street ate. Today, we come in the rooms and don't even acknowledge each other.
Wow.
So I think that's where we got to start with Juneteenth, rediscovering ourselves. And I appreciate Sister Whitehurst, because I didn't even realize those statements were in the Emancipation Proclamation. In fact, I'm sitting here feeling guilty because I don't think I've ever read it within the last 20 years. And I'll close there.
Okay, then. Y'all bringing up some other topics that we could discuss and we could talk about right quick. But Sister Karima talked about, collective of us as people joining together and celebrating Juneteenth, right? Then Brother Kirk was a mixed feeling about it, so he gave us about the watermelon. I want to say years ago, then somebody gonna tell Tiger Woods about the watermelons and greens and chicken and something like when he won the coat, right?
Sergio Garcia said that the next Masters, that's what they're going to have. So what I meant was, and I maybe didn't explain it, but I got to realize everybody's not from Texas. Every Juneteenth, one of the things that was served was strawberry soda and watermelon. That was a tradition of Juneteenth when I was coming up as a kid. That's what I meant by that. I just assumed that everybody knew. But if you was in Texas and you mentioned that, everybody would know that's what I was speaking of. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, that's all right. I'm glad you explained it. That's why I kind of kicked it back at you. I think I kind of know you a little bit that you were going to answer me. You right? Yeah. So I'm glad you cleared that up. So when you were speaking and you was very personal with it, and that was good because it brought to the next topic that we're going to discuss. And I want to start off again. I'm not picking on your sister, Lynetta. No, because what Brother Kenneth was saying, it made me think about our name, the NAACP. Our name is the National Association Advancement of Colored People, right? So Juneteenth is a celebration of our advancement, letting us know that you're free. The shackle is off your feet. No more change holding you down. You're free. So this what the NAACP is all about, justice, letting us know you're free. Nothing gonna hold you back anymore. You have a collective people who's standing with you. So can you elaborate on that, on our name, Sister Lynetta, please?
Oh, do my best, Sister Valerie. Brother Kenneth, I'm going to come back and say, when you said strawberry soda and watermelon, I'm sorry, Brother Kenneth, that's all my family reunions. I don't care which time of the year it was. I'm from Northern Louisiana, so when we had family reunions and 4th of July or Labor Day or Memorial Day, it was an excuse to barbecue and chill with family. So what they say, what color Kool-Aid you want? We said red. We didn't have no flavor. It's red. And where that good water goes, okay? So I mean, good eating was good eating, and to be personal about it, when you talk about sharing that food, I was raised on a small farm. My dad raised the best yellow watermelons you want to eat, peanuts, corn, greens. Mama had okra and sweet potatoes. He also raised Angus cows, Brother Kirk. So we had the first cousins and the uncles and the great aunts and great uncles down the street. So you shared that food. You're right. No one was, I never remember going hungry, Brother Kirk. My parents might have, but they didn't share as much. But we shared those homemade jellies and those communities we ate. So when we talk about a collective of celebrating, I heard parades. Here in Monroe, Louisiana, Miss Brown I think she's in her 17th year. She pushed for Monroe City to recognize it. And finally, of course, the state recognized it as the third Saturday now in the month of June. And Monroe has, starting last year, recognized the month of June as Juneteenth. So you have about 2 parades now. And they do encourage, we start from Black schools and Black areas. So they do encourage to visit the small business as well, and always have. So as a collective, you guys, I think we're on the right track and looking at it as a historical moment as well. And looking at it, as Brother Kirk said, as a celebration of joy. Just like the eulogy I heard yesterday from my uncle, happiness can be taken away. But joy, you celebrate it throughout whatever emotions or feelings you have. So even with NAACP, the fight is real. It wouldn't have been created if there was no fight for justice. So as an organization, as we move through this fight for justice, we must look at how we are approaching that fight. Are we closing those generational gaps? I feel like I'm a in-between generational gap. The 20-year-olds that I have as children and the elders that I'm learning for, and also the elders that need to hold on to the baton and learn with us and not hold it so tightly that they can't turn it loose. We each have a role of sharing. We each have a role of being the collective. And as the NAACP, we have some generational gaps that we need to close. We have some things that we need to fight for as a collective of people and as a collective of group. We have partnerships that we need to be more conscious of and connect those partnerships. So because our equality for justice, our fight is not alone. Your fight is also in the mirror with yourself. Ms. Valerie, you talk about the shackles, the physical shackles are gone, but the mental shackles are still there, whether they were passed on generational or where we talk about now. I don't know, some of you heard of the imposter syndrome. Like, I don't belong. I'm in a different place, and not just among people of Caucasian, but among ourselves as Black people. When we get a certain position, people want to talk about you. People want to say, why did you get it? And God guides you there. And you might not feel like you read. Because sometimes I feel like, I'll be honest, I'm imposter syndrome right here. Ms. Valerie say VP of NAACP. I wasn't even, it just came out the blue. So, but I asked myself, if this is where God wants you to be, who are you fighting? If you fight God, you lose it. Okay? You're going to lose that battle every single time because you did yourself a disservice and you doing God a disservice because he teaches you through your struggles. He teaches you through your happiness. He teaches you through your joy, and he teaches you through your failure. So if you're afraid of that, we as the NAACP cannot be afraid. But if we are, let's be clear, reality is reality. Because there are people out there that want to destroy us physically and mentally. So we must work through our fear as a collective and as the NAACP because the dangers are real, but the joys are still everlasting and throughout how we fight as a group and as we fight as a collective for those justices and those not being equal, but equality. And when we think about we always behind Brother Kirk, you are right. But when do we stop thinking that thought? Because if we're God's people, we're always ahead. We just don't know it yet.
Yes.
He already gave us the victory, right? While we're behind. I'm going to let it go. I'm sorry. I'll let it go. But thank you. Thank you anyway.
I just wanted to say something about along the lines of what Miss Lynetta was talking about, how this idea of we're behind and the generational gap. And I can start with foundation because for me, I think we're the last generation to really like have this tradition that we need to pass on. And when I say tradition, the tradition of learning about our history, if it's imperative, we're at that imperative stage that if we don't pass this knowledge on to our children and our families, it's gonna get lost and buried. They're already trying to get rid of all the African American studies in the schools and the universities. And so if we don't take this opportunity to expound on the Juneteenth holiday or use that as a guise for us to educate ourselves, right? Because a lot of people are unknowledgeable. I didn't learn about Juneteenth until I put myself in college. My mom didn't teach it to me. I had to learn it myself because I'm not even sure if she was aware of it. But if we don't educate each other, that's why I built this platform, so I can educate and teach, because I'm very, very passionate about the ones who came before us. I love my ancestors so much. It's crazy how much I love and how much I want to honor the people who came before, because those are the ones who were really fighting for us to be where we are today, right? Juneteenth is a very young holiday. It just got federally, acknowledged 2 years ago by President Joe Biden. So I would like for us to use this Juneteenth holiday as not only a celebration, but a day of education and going back and learning about what this is all about. Who were the slave? Who were the freedom fighters? Who was out there fighting for our right? Who are these people? And learning who they were and what their struggles were, so we can teach generations to come and not just let it get erased from our history. Juneteenth, what does that mean? Learn what it means. Learn who your people were, and then we can go from there. It's like the Sankofa effect. I always pull up that Sankofa effect. You cannot know, you don't know where you're going if you don't know from which you've come, right? So that's all I wanted to add to the conversation.
Thank you. I'll go ask you to sum it up, because I already know personally that you love Black history. You love your people. So before we go to the next topic, and this will be our last topic because time is far spent and time is passing by, because we are having a conversation that everybody is engaged in, right? Because it's personal to us. So we're going to talk about politics. We just going to put just a little damp on politics, because I am a proud member of ATU, and I know ATU is very much involved in politics. We have our own PAC committee, and I know for a fact the NAACP is involved in politics because I'm a member of the NAACP. So we're going to start out with our brother, our only brother that's on here with gorgeous women. So we're going to ask Brother Kirk, can you tell us something about ATU COPE, what it mean, and why we have it, how we impact, and how we have a strong voice in ATU in politics.
Yeah, so we have what we call COPE. Is you would ask me a hard question, but it's basically what it is. It's a PAC work for political education and outreach, where our members contribute, because we're not allowed to take, well, we are now, but way back when, we wasn't allowed to take money from our treasury to use it for political activity. So our political action education committee is designed to take money that we give directly to politicians, and we give it back to our locals on a national, state, and even the city level for their elections, depending on how much money they put in. But we also give money because it's important, because we're public employees. That's how we get paid, through taxes and having legislation that provides the funding for transit. Because, public transit, in our opinion, is a civil right. It's a right to be able to live and enjoy the fruit of our labors. But I like to invite you all, because we're doing a joint venture with the AFL-CIO, the ATU, and with Bishop Barber and the Poor People's Campaign. We're actually having a march here on June the 29th here in D.C. And we're inviting everybody to come. We're trying to get all our locals to come. We got all the AFL affiliates will be having people participate. We plan on having it as a big event. And what it's about is a massive campaign for poor people to be recognized and get them out to vote in the upcoming election. I don't know if you're aware of it, but the issues are a lot. But one of the main issues is, do we know that 800 people a year die from poverty? It might be a month, I think. 800 people just die because they're poor. That means they don't have access to health care. They don't have access to good jobs. They don't have access to good housing. And they don't have good access to food, which leads to poor health care. But politically, that's what we do. We try to reach the politicians. So this week, as I said earlier, we're all here. We brought in 150 local union leaders all across the United States, from Washington State to Florida, and we'll be going up on the Hill the next 3 days and meeting with various politicians to get our issues out. That's what I wouldn't expect to answer that question, so I could have probably explained it a little better.
Oh, you did good.
That's just right off the top of my head.
Well,
but I still want to make sure y'all mark that down, and if you can, get involved. The Poor People's Campaign is all over in each state in the South, and they're the main sponsors, but the AFL-CIO and all of its affiliates are the secondary sponsors, and we're looking at having a big event, a big march to address these issues about poor people, because what we have to remember, the less poor people, the less taxes we pay, the less poor people, the better our infrastructure is, the less poor people allows us to negotiate better wages for ourselves. So these people are important. We think they're neglected, and the ATU supports that, but we also support legislation. One of our biggest issues right now is driver's assault, and we're having a lot of issues with driver's assault. Even though we passed legislation under the Biden administration, our drivers continue to be assaulted while at work. And I'll close there.
Thank you, Brother Kirk. Brother Kirk, you did very well. You did very well. So we're going to pass it on to your colleague, my sister, ATU, Sister Howard. Can you tell us something about about ATU involving in the politics and oh, wait a minute, by the way, Kenneth Kirk, Brother Kenneth Kirk, I did see you at the White House, right? I did see you with our Vice President Harris. So I know you in the house, okay?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, you in the house.
I've been to the White House a lot. We was one of the first unions that supported the Biden administration. He's rewarded us in passing several bills that have allowed our transit systems throughout the United States to keep running, even during COVID. And, I'll just brag for 1 second. I'm very proud that I was actually sitting in the Oval Office having a general conversation with President Biden. That's something that I'll always remember and treasure.
Yes. So thank you for that. Appreciate it. I know our President John A. Costa, he like to go through the front door. He ain't going through no back door. That's for sure. That's why he going to the Hill. So, Sister Howard, can you tell her? I already know you strong in the politics.
Oh, yeah.
So come on and tell us about ATU, about the politicians.
So here in Pennsylvania, and I know that this is a tad bit off subject, when he talks about us being behind, I don't want us to use that as a negative. But when you live from state to state, for me to sit here and describe a vision that Sister Lynetta and Brother Kirk have already experienced, and it is not here in Pennsylvania, trust me, being behind, there's a difference. When Scripture tells us we are the head and not the tail. Two different things. When he says behind, because there's no way in the world I'm excited by my vision, and y'all just killed it by saying that's what we always do. So depending on where you live, sometimes you are playing catch up. And Sister Valerie, I agree. I went from shackles to now in the political world they call it silk now, but there's still potential shackles from where I sit. Okay. I've never been at the big White House like Kenneth Kirk, but I've sat in the governor's office. So here in Pittsburgh, I am excited to say that I've been part of the campaign for Summer Lee. our very first African American female to sit in a House Forum, Pennsylvania, and we have our first Black Lieutenant Governor, Austin Davis. So to sit on those campaigns and to walk the streets and knock on doors personally has been an honor for me. And I try and pick the neighborhoods that resemble me, the ones that no one else want to go into. Who God said, "Who shall go?" And I said, "Send me. I'm in." So I'm excited, but disappointed at the same time. I will tell you, for me to be a fast talker and to think that we are moving. I've been a part of seeing our first Black president. I've been a part of seeing our first Black political. But I will tell you, I am stumped on how to re-engage our youth.
Mhm.
And when I say our youth, I mean from 30 on down. When you're knocking on these doors and you want to have a conversation and you're trying to impress upon how much their voice means, you would think some of the things that they've seen in their lifetime that our parents were honored to see would be a blessing to them. But it becomes a regular ho-hum. So I think that maybe I'm not really answering your question and looking for answers as we go into the next election. How do we re-engage the people under us, the youth under us? How do we re-engage them in history when you can sit and you can look at TikTok and the narrative is being painted by algorithms?
Mhm.
How
Hmm.
do we our young Blacks to learn their history when the songs take over? How do we allow them to know how strong they are in
Distractions.
move? So I'm a little stumped there, Valerie. I know I probably am answering a question and asking one at the same time, but the power that I have right here on the call, I am definitely asking you, moving forward, how do I assist myself in re-engaging in some of the things that we talked about? How do I campaign to get our history out there? Because it is new, but it shouldn't be a new history because it's an old history. But for us,
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
even wearing our hair now, that just happened in 2019, 2021. It just literally happened. And here in Pennsylvania, things are newer for us. We're not, a southern town. So, we're just stepping into the first Black this, the first Black that, the first Black this. Even the children in my household, you've been raised on politics, God first, politics. But when they leave the household and become their own people, and between social media and whatever else comes next, how do we get them to re-engage in history and knowing that they have a voice? You're stronger than the outfit that you wear. You're stronger than the car that you drive.
Right. Right.
Yep. Yep. Okay, well, look, I got my hand. I'm ready to listen. I already know we got a preacher. Sound like we got another preacher, our deacon right here with your brother Kirk. I'm not sure. So next we gonna end it with Sister Whitehurst. So tell us about you or about the NAACP in the politics. I know we strong in the politics. I know you educated me when we went to the Capitol when we were sitting at the top looking down at our representatives. So can you tell us about the NAACP or that's making personal about you in the politics? Then I want everybody else to think about because we about to close out. So get ready to make your closeout statement. I know we have some old time points, but time for us spent, and we have some more information that we need to put out. Plus, we want to hear y'all last statement. So come on, Sister Whitehurst, tell us about how you feel about politics, politician, and the politics world, especially what's going on in Louisiana. Hello.
Girl, don't start. that we did not come out. But we cannot move anything without voting.
Amen.
When you don't vote, that is a vote somewhere. When you even vote wrong, I would say wrong, against your own interests or against, as people, when we start talking about Black people as human too, do you want your parent not able to access health care? Do you want your Black sister, your Black mother, your Black aunt dying because the mortality rate is so high, regardless for a Black woman and having a baby, regardless of what economic background they're from? All of those elements are still garnered up from a vote, and that your vote is it's an act of love, it's an act of action, it's an act of love, and what it looks afterwards. Does it look like a phone call? Does it look like an email? And how do you connect those youth? And one of the things, Miss Howard, is that we're not connecting how it impacts their lives. And in my 20s, I was having a baby, I was married, I was going to college. I had to look back and see what Jimmy Carter did to free the Middle East with this current, and that is over 75 years old. It's a constant battle in the Middle East, and it always has been. And to even educate myself about that piece, I was 12 years old. So being young and being engulfed in my own life, that's one of the things they worry about, paying for college education. They worry about how they're going to help their families and work and go to college at the same time. We're not even connecting what happens to them if they face the judicial system. Because all we're talking about is, if you do something bad, and it's erroneous, you might get more time. Well, what about those that don't do anything bad? That was the other conversation. Popular to mainstream belief that, my husband's never been to jail. All Black people ain't never been to jail. We might all been pulled over because of the car we drive. He's done that in the state of Georgia. That has happened to him twice. But he's never, thank God, went to jail because of some cop's play. He hasn't put himself in the situations, and he's 59. He's never been in the prison. But our young people also think that that's a cool way to do it. We also might look up the music. Now, if you look at, I got to go and listen to this Kendrick Lamar song that has been popping up. Okay, you're talking about the algorithm. There's a rapper out there called Yellow Pain. That's a deep political rapper. Love him to death if you listen to some of his stuff. So if, say, the kids have an algorithm of rap, want to listen to rap music, we need to hopefully, some of those algorithms will make them come across some political rap. So maybe we need to use our Black-owned stations, our Black-owned TikTokers of promoting those political rap songs. So maybe that's one way. There's no one answer, unfortunately. Talking to our children personally. I can say my 20-year-olds did not, now 30s, did not consistently vote. But my daughter drove all the way from Johnson City, Tennessee 4 years ago to Atlanta, Georgia, because she didn't get her absentee ballot. And she asked because of that race. And then she heard about that they were going to try to ban just taking oral contraceptives. She didn't perk at the abortion. She was hearing it. But when she said, so they're trying to pass laws or thinking about even barring me from taking birth control, a proactive way to control your body so that maybe you won't get pregnant too early and have that situation in your life. Think about that. So we got to stop telling them what to vote for or telling them why they should vote and start asking them, is voting important to you? And if not, why? What is going on in your life that you worried about? We need to start asking that question versus putting it in their face of voting, because at the same time, you got to think about, we didn't vote. We started our own businesses. Now they started talking about the Oklahoma, I don't call it a riot, I call it a massacre. And we were building their own cities and they still bothered us. Now what?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They still killed us because of jealousy.
Mhm.
Now what? So we have to start doing parallelisms, not just one. If they stop teaching African American history and taking the books away, we was teaching it in the churches. We were
Yeah.
teaching it personally. So where's our parallel system? And Miss Valerie heard me bring it up on Monday Night Calls. Okay, we got to fight what's wrong in the educational system, but what are we doing parallel to teach outside that educational system that wasn't built for us in the first place?
That's right. That's right. That's right. Thank you, Sister Whitehurst. So we're gonna ask Sister Peach. You want to sum it up like you did the last topic? You summed it last topic quite good. You was very good. So
Well, politics is not my strong point.
okay.
However, I can speak to voting. I think my sister, who is a voting advocate in the lower ninth ward, she does her due diligence on a monthly basis to get out the vote, to get people registered. And she's very dedicated to it, but she seemed like she's losing enthusiasm for it and losing the fight because people are just, it's like her work is just going, it's not producing any outcome. And it's sad that we as a whole, we still don't get out and vote. And I think for many different reasons. People have their own reasons. There's no one reason why one person will say, well, I don't vote because whatever. They have their own mindset. They might have been brainwashed to believe that their vote don't count.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when you go to the polls, it's such that, like, I've had experience with going to the polls to vote where a lot of ordinances, and it's hard to read the ballot. They make it so complicated that, but by the time you get done voting, you're like, I'm not doing that no more. So we have so many barriers we have to overcome. First barrier is to get people in the polls.
Mm.
And people are either distracted, working, it's not a priority. There's so many different reasons why people are not voting. On the last governor's election here in Louisiana, the majority of the Black people did not vote.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a Black candidate on the ballot. And they had the opportunity to early vote, and they still didn't. A lot of people said that, oh, well, they were going to Houston to play a football, or wherever they were going to play a football game, and people just did not vote because they were out of town. It's just not a priority. And we have to teach people that it is a priority and it's a responsibility as a Black person because of the blood, sweat, and tears of our ancestors. I'm always going to go back to our ancestors and what they had to do. I even tell my kids that I'm not going to throw my life away. My life will not go in vain because I'm going to pursue my dreams and my goals, because I feel like I have to live my life on purpose. So that's how I honor my ancestors. And I think voting is a way of honoring our ancestors.
Yes, you summed it very well, which I already know you was going to do. Thank you. So this is the closeout time. We asking each one of our guests to give us, I want to say, some encouragement, a closeout statement about Juneteenth, how you feel about Juneteenth, how you feel about yourself. We're going to leave it up to you how you want to give us a closed statement, because when we send this podcast out, it will be sent out all over the world. Everyone on here that know me, I'm going to send it out. I believe that's my gift, to send out information for everyone to be empowered, to encourage yourself, be proud of who you are. So
Right.
we're going to start out with no other than our sister from the NAACP, the Vice President, Sister Whitehurst.
Well, I'm going to make it personal, Miss Valerie.
Yes.
For me, it was 4th of July. How would the family, take it, right? So this Saturday on the 15th, and last year I did it because my cousin called it the July 4th / Juneteenth celebration when we did it, because it was our third, being back in Monroe, Louisiana. It was our second family gathering as the next generations to start hosting family gatherings, because our parents and our grandparents now are getting old. So on the 15th this month, I decided that we would have a family gathering to celebrate Juneteenth. I already got my decorations. It is known that this is a Juneteenth slash a family gathering that we used to have as children when our families came home from California in the summer. Whenever they came home, we gathered around that California family every year, so that we can love on each other. And that's what we're doing. And I always do it as an educational piece. I always talk about voting like I did last year. I'm gonna do it again this year. But just also to love on each other, and that this is a Juneteenth gathering, and that it'd be obvious this year that it's a Juneteenth gathering. So Juneteenth means to me is just that family and educating each other and being proud of who we are, and that our power is immeasurable.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Sister Whitehurst. Now we have our sister from the ATU International Black Caucus Vice President, Sister Howard.
Juneteenth, you already know, is my own personal holiday now, and I want everybody around me to have the same vigor and pride that you would with 4th of July. I just literally sat here and thought about. So Juneteenth is our personal holiday. It's a celebrated holiday here for me. But you know what? Everybody that attends is going to have to now come, and this is going to be my tradition. You're going to have to come with a fun fact from Black history so that we can start uncovering and stop being surprised by history. So I'm sending out an invitation, and I want everybody to come with some fun fact Black history. Like you ladies said, you're teaching while you're talking. And one of the questions was, how do we get them re-engaged? If you come into my house to eat some of my good old macaroni and cheese, you better have a corner card. You better have something with some Black history on it. That's what I do know. I don't care if y'all all got the same history. Somebody better bring some history before you eat. So that'll be my new tradition for me. And I thank you guys for giving me that. Maybe that's how we re-engage, one household at a time if we have to. They're going to take the books out of the schools. That's okay. I'll bring the books to my house. And I'm gonna always stand and believe, regardless of how we feel elections go. Your voice is your vote, and I stand by that.
Yes, yes. Thank you. That was a strong statement. Thank you, thank you.
It
We're gonna
was.
leave Mr. the one and only, the great, the powerful, the majestic brother, ATU International Executive Treasurer, Kenneth Kirk. Did I do all right, Kenneth Kirk? Did I do all right, my
You
brother?
did.
He did it.
Well,
He did it.
I didn't deserve
Yes, you did.
those kind
Yes,
words,
yes, you did. Yes, you did. Come and leave us some
but
sound wisdom, some encouragement. Yes, you did. Every bit of it.
yeah. Well, I think Sister Whitehurst talked about voting, and I kind of want to leave us with that about voting. I'm trying to narrow it down to just a few minutes. We know that what we hear when we canvass, because all unions canvass, and I used to canvass a lot. I'm reluctant to canvass today. They think their vote don't count, but their vote does count because everything they do, all the way down to their electricity, their cable, their phone bill, everything is determined by an elected official. We got to make them understand that everything they do, the registration on their car, the price of their gas, every single thing they do is impacted by the elected official. When they when they get arrested and they have a bond, who sets that? Who sets the ticket prices? Who makes things illegal and not legal? Illegal and not legal. It's by the election process. And I like to say that I think where we've erred is, because I was a kid. I was born in 1961. And I didn't get to vote to 1979. But here's what I'll tell you. During that period of time, it was a stigma. It was an embarrassment for somebody to be sitting on the side and not going to vote.
Mm.
Everybody in our community was looking at them a certain way when they wasn't voting. My mom just told me the other day, she's 80. She's made every election since she was 25 years old. Every single one. So I think what we have to do is make an emphasis on the fact that what does voting affect? It affects every single thing in your life. Every single thing. And your non-vote is why you have things that we have to live with that we don't like because we don't vote. We don't dictate to politicians. And then I like to close. There was a couple of questions you had about
Okay.
Who are our Black leaders today? And when you asked me that question, guess what?
What?
I came up blank. Who? There's certainly not a recognized Black national leader for us. Now, we have some locally, but not nationally. That's never been true. You know, and I think John Lewis, maybe the last icon that was somewhat considered. And then the other question you had was, who are our Black heroes? And that's our other problem, and it affects voting to me. Our Black heroes for our younger generation is athletes, rappers, people with bling bling. Yes. But these are not our leaders, and these are not our heroes. And, you know, when I was a kid, I was somewhat different. You know, I looked up to the Stokely Carmichaels, the Marcus Garveys, that people in our history don't even know anything about. And these were very strong Black men, you know, A. Philip Randolph. And so what I would say is that I know I may come off as a pessimist, which I am, but we've got to fix our problems. And the only way we fix our problems if we know where they are. And I appreciate the opportunity to be among all you fine young ladies. I mean, and that it was hard for me to try to keep up with you all. Y'all all articulate, and I'm so proud to have been here with you. Have a great day.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to make my last statement, and I'm going to turn it over to our host, Sister Peach. I am so happy. My heart is filled with joy when I be on a platform as such as beautiful, great giants in my life that's on this podcast today. When we reached out to you all, each one of you all, to be a guest, you all accepted it. I mean, you really accepted, didn't hesitate. You just accepted it. And my heart was full of joy. I said I wasn't going to get emotional because y'all know I get emotional. But I'm not going to do it because you all seen the worst side and you seen the best side. And you still stand strong. Even our host, Sister Peach, you stand strong. And that's what the next generation needs to see. They need to see the bad side. They also need to see us, how we handle it, how we still stand strong together. They need to see us fellowshipping together, learning each other, standing up for one another. When I say learning, I mean learning how to doing all things decent and in order, not with the fist, but with the mind, with the lips, and with the heart. They need to see us standing for our rights, for their rights, for what they don't know. They don't know what's in store for them. So the good Lord placed the baton in our hands now. They looking at us. And when I see you all on here and you speaking your truth, you're speaking your truth. You're speaking it from personal perspective and you're speaking from knowledge and experience. And when this go out, I hope everyone will see this and they will feel it. They will do something about it and go out there and vote. Go out there and teach their children. Show them, not just speak it to them, but show them that you are important. You are great. You are beautifully made.
And you matter.
And that's right. And you matter. That means they looking at us how we dress. They looking at us how we speak. They looking at us how we respond. They looking at that. So
Yes.
that's my last statement. I really thank you all for coming on. I love each one of you all. I really do. I genuinely love you all. Because y'all see me at my race, my worst, you still love me. You see me at my goofy time, you still love me because you know I'm goofy, right? So, hey, and you still love me. And I thank you all. From the International Black Caucus Southwest Region, we thank you. We thank you, Sister Peach, for partnering with us, for sponsoring us. We thank you.
Thank you.
So we're going to leave it out with Sister Peach. Thank you again, Sister Peach.
All right. I want to thank you all for joining me and Miss Valerie on this Juneteenth episode. This conversation could go on and on and on, but we have to end it because there's so many different layers. There's so many different topics. Each one of you seems so passionate about the work that you do. And I'm just thankful that I'm able to provide a platform for you all to be able to reach the masses. And I hope that whoever is listening to this podcast, listening to this episode, that it encourages you to make a change in your life for the better. Get out there and vote. Voting is so important. Election is coming up, and it's going to be a very nervous time, I think, in November for everyone. But just know that your vote does matter, and that's it. Thank you all for joining us, and I will see you all. We have a part 2 coming up, so we have some more guests coming up on this next episode, but we're going to end this one. You guys, thank you again. Well, that wraps up another episode of the Stirring the Gumbo podcast. I really appreciate you all listening in and for being a supporter of the show. So in the spirit of Don Cornelius, I wish you all